A structure-based patent search usually includes two steps: searching for related known compounds in the CAS registry file, as well as searching for generically claimed structures from patents in the CAS Markush database. For this example, we'll be using iconazole. It's an antifungal, antimicrobial drug. It was patented actually several decades ago, but it continues to appear in new patents for new uses and applications, including consumer products. A first step at any patent search is, what are you looking for? What's new and novel? What would be compounds of interest? What would be related compounds of interest? So for example, there could be variations in the alkyl chain, in the heteroatom here, in the heterocyclic ring here. It turns out in this family of antimicrobial, antifungal compounds, they all have these rings and linkers, but the variation involves the substitution. So let's assume we're interested in variations similar to this 4-chloro, 2,4-chloro substitution. So we'll send it to the drawing tool. And if the variable menu here, I could say any halogen, but how about we'll search a little more broadly for any substitution at the 4 and 2,4. There are other changes we can make. There is an alkyl group variable. There is a heterocycle variable or a carbocycle variable. We will leave it like this and launch the search. So our registry search yields 3 answer sets, including the as drawn, where the variables vary, but all the other open valences are hydrogen. Let's go to the substructure part of the answer set. In this case, the variables vary and the open valences may be substituted as well. And so these are some related compounds that fill the same space, and I could apply some filters. I will just click on one. So you can see here I've got a different substitution pattern with a 4-bromo and a 2,4-chloro, which certainly satisfies our query. So at some point, after narrowing it down to compounds that are of interest, I will likely get the references. All of these references will include at least one of the structures that was in that answer set, and I could use various filters here, including the search within, to see if anybody is using these compounds in an area that would be of interest or concern to my research. Getting back to the main page. The second step is a patent Markush search. And I'll just go to my history and edit the previous query. The idea of a patent Markush search is that many patents, after claiming some specific compounds, will attempt to claim the whole space around them. It is not a drawing shortcut. It might be like they would claim any 5-membered heterocycle or whole different lengths of chain here. Not a drawing shortcut, but a broad generic claim to claim some space. We can leave this query as is, and to run the patent Markush search, simply check this box here and launch the search. Okay, this also does an as drawn and a substructure search. Let's stay with the as drawn for just a moment and take a look at one of the answers. You'll notice all the answers give you a drawn structure as well as a literature reference, not just the structure answer. Let's take a look at this compound here. You notice the schematic. It's not showing me everything that's in the patent. It's only showing me the parts that are relevant to the query I asked. I can see there are several G groups. That's how we abbreviate that there are generic groups here. So there are lists of claimed possibilities at these G1 and G6 and G4 positions. There's also some generic alkyl chains here, alkyl chain 72 and alkyl chain 49. But I can't see the 3 rings, the linker chain, and the 4-chloro and 2,4-chloro. So this generic claim does overlap with my query. And by the way, those 2 alkyl chains, you notice we're showing not the whole patent, but again, alkyl chain 49 is 1 or more carbons, alkyl chain 72 is 1 or more carbons. And my original compound had 1 carbon at each of those positions. If you're wondering, what if it had said 3 to 5 carbons, for example, well, then I would not have brought it back because my query only had 1 carbon in it. Let's take a quick look at the patent. Thanks to Patent Pack, we can get a look. I'm going to skip ahead to page 31, having looked at this patent before. That's where the claims begin. And I can see here in claim 1 that they've actually claimed 4 ring systems. This long one here. Here's the one that overlapped with my query, which includes several R groups, X's, and N's here. There's also a 3rd structure and a 4th structure. And then there's all the definitions of how long the N chains can be, the different X variables, and all the R1s through R23s, quite a long list here of different possibilities for what those R groups could be. And so the amazing thing about our search engine, it's not just looking at the pictures, we also have deciphered the text, and we were able to identify with all the things being claimed here, with all the complications, that my structure of interest did overlap with that claim. And once again, we will want to switch to the substructure part of the answer set. And we'll get the references. All of these references include one of those Markush claims, and I could check to see if any had an application that would be of interest to me. To show that, let me just go to Search Within and look for example, coding. My search brought back 3 answers, including this interesting patent here, where this antifungal is actually making its way into wood protection to prevent deterioration of the wood by microorganisms. Let's return to our query a moment. From the interest of building better queries, how exactly does SciFinder search for compounds that include generic claims like alkyl groups, aromatic ring, heterocyclic ring, and so forth? There are some settings that are in place for the patent Markush search. All ring systems that are drawn have to be matched as drawn. So if they simply said there's a heterocycle here, that's not good enough. It would have to be this ring system here. On the other hand, side groups and chains, they can match either exactly or they can match in a descriptive claim. For example, we saw in that earlier patent an alkyl group of 1 or more carbons was defined here, and that's good enough. It didn't have to be exactly 1 carbon. A generic claim like that was good. But as I mentioned, if there were any patents that had 3 carbon chains or said 3 to 5 carbons, I would have missed those. So that might be your consideration, that I might want to, for a broader answer set, especially given I only brought back 3 references in this case, I might want to check if there were generic longer alkyl chains. I might want to check if somebody might have made a different heterocycle ring here, or things like that, or a different heteroatom. There'd be ways to do that. And that would certainly bring back more answers. But those are all options you have in doing a patent structure search.